Welcome to the Wedco podcast, where wedding wisdom meets street smarts.
We're dishing out all the tips, tricks, and wedding goss to take your wedding to the next level.
Time to ditch the formalities and get this party started. Okay, welcome to the Wedco podcast. I'm Togger.
I'm Joel.
And today we have Chris Hutchinson on the couch with us.
We do.
How you going, mate?
Good, guys. How are we?
Good. Thanks so much for coming in and joining us.
Oh, you're welcome.
Fresh back from your own wedding?
Yeah.
How'd that go?
Yeah, it was good. I see the weddings in a different light now.
Yep.
Like massively. So weird to say that, but
How so?
just being on the receiving end of vendors and seeing what they do for you, and the process and how much it means to you. Like for me, obviously, when I get every wedding, I'll get, phone calls or text messages or emails. You did a fantastic job and you made our day, and the guests were like raving about you and this and that. And I just go, it's like water off a duck's back. I hear it all the time, and I just go, oh, it's just like, thank you, I appreciate it, but don't stress. Like it's just what I do.
Yeah.
My job.
Yeah.
It's my job.
Yeah.
I'm there to make you guys happy, and if you're happy, I'm happy, and that's the extent of it. And then I guess having my wedding, realizing the people I had to run my wedding, the music, the photography, and all that sort of stuff, I realized what it means to you.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I was like, man, I got a really important job.
Yeah.
And what I do is, it's special.
It's interesting you say that because, like, I regard musos and DJs like super, super highly. From like a photographer and videography point of view, I'm like, if you're just like relying on a Spotify playlist, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
Is there some room in some budget that we can
Yeah, for
get
sure.
someone? Because I think there's just so much to it. Whether it even like, IELTS songs, same thing. Like if you got someone playing some live music, or, at least even just in control, in charge of some music, I think it's just so valuable.
Yeah.
Setting atmospheres for like dinner, the dance floor is massive.
Yeah.
So
And having been through it now, you need to have people in place that are just like, I got you.
Yeah.
for sure.
Because I was so nervous. Like you wait till you see my video. It's so funny. Tegan's like halfway through the ceremony, she slaps me on the hands and she's like, stop it.
Relax.
Breathe. Like, she's like, you're really clemmy. And
It's so funny because you've been doing this like
and
so
I'm-
long.
Yeah, ice cold when I do ceremonies, like I'm just like, yep, ready, cool. And I'm not even kidding. And now at weddings, I'm like, sing the aisle song and I feel it.
Freaking out. Start
Like
tearing up a bit.
Well, I feel emotional. And then, during vows, I feel it.
Yeah, wow.
It's just like, it's weird. It's just opened my eyes. Like getting married is just best thing that ever happened to me for
professionally.
my work, really,
Yeah.
honestly. And that's just being like brutally honest.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
On that note, who are you? Tell us a little bit about what you do.
My name's Chris Hutchinson. My business is called Chris Hutchinson Weddings. I've been singing at weddings now for, well over like 12, 13 years. Obviously in the early days, it was a new thing. Live music at a wedding Wedding Singer was a movie. Now it's actually a thing.
Yeah.
Just slowly built my business through reputation and working with vendors, and it's just naturally evolved into a full-time, pretty big thing where I'm just flat out doing weddings.
Yeah. How many now, like a typical kind of year, how many weddings are you playing singing at?
Oh, I haven't even, I'm always doing 3 weddings a week at the very, that's a normal, 3 weddings is my normal. Some weeks I'm doing 5, 4. And then randomly, January is probably the only time that I'll have maybe 4 weddings for that month.
Yeah, right.
January, February. It's funny because we were just talking about it. Tegan and I were talking about it. And she's like, I think, January, February is pretty quiet, babe. Yep. And you're going to have...
Get out.
It's pretty quiet. We should look into getting a holiday in or something. And then she's like, you've got 8 in February now. And I was like, that's the other thing. Hey, it's so hard to get family time. And
that's what I was going to ask next. Was like, if you're doing 3 a week, is there a month that you take off, or is there super vigilant with getting some family
I think
time?
this is now the first time that I've been our son's 9 now, and he's starting to say a few things like, oh, Dad, you need to have a little bit more time doing certain things, or it was I think we stuffed up and I worked on a certain day, might have been I don't even know what it
Easter or
was.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It might have been Father's Day.
Yeah.
I might have accidentally had a wedding on Father's Day or something
For
like
sure.
that.
Yeah.
And he was like, what are you doing?
Yeah, especially because you book it so far out as well.
Well, you
and
don't
you're
even
know exactly.
It's like, oh, you're available on this date.
You're like,
Studio
yep,
Ninja's like, book it.
Yeah,
Book it. You know, book them in. You're free.
Yeah.
You know, and you
Yeah.
just book it and you look at it and go, or you miss out on birthdays and friends' parties and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's a big sacrifice for sure.
Yeah, I have to put that in the calendar now. Like I've got all my kids' birthdays in
Yep.
the in like Tave.
Yeah, we've done
and
that.
So it's just like it's booked. Like you can't do that. Or
Yeah.
like, hey Willow, you know, if I work, you know, can we do something different?
Yeah, let's go, you know, try and, manipulate the happiness some other way.
I'll take you to Bali real quick.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's so hard, you know. So
And is it a team game with you and Tegan, like as far as like bookings and everything like that, or how does that work?
nowadays, she's very heavily the one that does all the bookings and everything. I leave that up to her now just because she's a weapon at emails and all that sort of stuff. And she's in control of the family and she knows what I'm doing when I'm doing it. And I just focus on like learning the songs. And I've also got obviously my original music stuff that I do on the side as well. So it gives me a little bit more time to do that. And I think the customers just really enjoy being able to read emails. Mine are a little bit
exactly.
muso-y.
Yeah.
Same.
You know what I mean? It's like, are you available? Yeah, I'm available. Like, what's your packages? Like, oh, just call me.
Yeah.
Just call me. I'll sort it out with
Yeah.
you. But with her, she can just like write emails so
Boom, boom,
quick
boom.
and they just book in straight away and it's all done. And, you know.
You just get told you got 5 weddings this week and you're like, sick.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, babe. Cheers.
Again.
Yeah.
How long ago did Tegan start helping you out in the business?
She took it over probably a year and a half ago.
Yeah, cool.
She sort of really started helping.
And you noticed like a big shift, like were you kind of like, you do this and then I'm going to be able to focus? And do you feel like there was a change in, you know, like whether you're learning new music and putting in time?
Yeah, I just needed it. I just needed it. I needed to step away from it all and just focus on the music side of it and being the fun guy. And I say that to my couples all the time. I'm like, my job's the fun part of your wedding. So I'm just there to bring the fun and just have like a fun relationship, friendship with you guys. And, you know, Tegan does all of the booking and all that sort of stuff, and then I just basically work for her.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Like, she's the boss and tells me where I'm going.
You subcontract to her now.
Yeah, I literally do. I just needed to step away and just have her do all that sort of stuff, and that's allowed me to be busier as well because I can take on more work. And obviously now, like with being able to take on more work without sacrificing the quality that I'm offering couples, I make sure we have DJs now. So I have like DJs that are professional.
Yeah, awesome.
They bring the party. So I find a lot of musos that do the whole day.
Yeah.
You got to be careful with, don't stress. The one man shop, I do the whole thing from the start to finish.
Yeah.
That muso's doing 3 to 4 weddings that week. I promise you, come 7 o'clock, he's on the DJ dance deck going,
Yeah.
He's cooked.
and that was me. I found myself like just getting to the DJ part going, okay.
Yeah.
Put on horses. Can you play horses for me?
Yeah. And just getting energy levels are going down
For sure.
when the party's supposed to be going up.
Do you think that's just like hustle culture or like what? Because I definitely feel like when I was starting my business, I was like, like I'm the one-stop shop. I'm the one editing your films. I'm doing it. Like I'm the one on emails. I'm the one on social media. And then it kind of gets to a point and you're like, I can't keep this up. Like I'm doing so much.
And you can definitely do it if you're only doing a small volume because you can keep the energy levels up there and you can give them what you want. And at the end of the day, it comes down to personal preference. For me personally, with the reputation I have in this industry and the way that vendors talk about me, I wanted to always guarantee that I was giving that 100% every time. And so when, 7:30, 8 o'clock rolls around, dinner's finished and they're about to hit the dance floor, my DJ is rolling in just going, let's go, baby.
Yeah.
And I see it instantly. When I'm leaving, I look at her and I'm thinking to myself, I'm so stoked to have you because you're going to make these guys so happy.
And typically one DJ that you work with all the time, or how does this work?
Yeah, now at the moment, Taylor, she's my main DJ.
Yep.
And then I have 2 other DJs that DJ at other venues and do other things as well that fill in for me when when Taylor's obviously not available, or like some nights we have 2 weddings. Like obviously people would reach out to me, and if I'm not available, but they just want a DJ, we have DJs that will go out and do that as well.
That's awesome.
And they're going to trust your opinion. You know, they trust who you are. And so if you're saying like Taylor's the best, they're going to be like, okay, cool, we get it.
Yeah. And because the thing you got to be careful with weddings as well is it's your day. You know your friends. You know what your friends listen to and what your friends love. And if you want to put the effort into telling us the music you know they're going to love, that's what we play.
For sure.
Interesting.
You know?
It's like even us being, you know, photographers, videographers, we get to a wedding and we're like, do you reckon there's going to be a dance floor? We're like, it doesn't feel like it.
Yeah.
But then you get someone who's epic, you know, DJing, and it just goes off. And you're like, without them, nothing would have happened.
Yeah, one of my best friends at my wedding, he said to me, man, he's like, it's crazy how like a DJ can really make or break. He's like, one of my best friends from Melbourne, he's like, we went to his wedding. I was in the bridal party a few months ago, and he had the most epic wedding. Like everything was bang on, best day ever, worst DJ.
Interesting.
No one danced, and the whole night, like when we finished the wedding, all people talk about was how crap the DJ was. But they had the best wedding. He's like, best food, best venue, best views. They had fireworks, they had everything, and all people talked about after the wedding was, fire, the DJ sucked.
It's kind of mid. Yeah.
You know, and it's a letdown. You could have I say to people all the time, people make weddings and music.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And you mix it right, put those two together, and you just got the most amazing wedding. You know, you get married in a shoebox with a good DJ and the right people.
Low ceiling, like,
mate, do you know what I mean?
True.
So,
And then, so doing, you know, as many weddings as you are, as far as like looking after your voice and staying, you know, how do you go about that? Is there like exercise? Like, how do you look after yourself to get through that many weddings?
Yeah, guilty of not like, I only just recently started having vocal coaching.
Yeah, okay.
No way.
So Tegan's like, just said to me one day, she's like, you know, people get personal training and they look, you know, and if you're a builder, you'll sharpen your tools and she's like, have you ever thought about like having vocal
looking
coaching?
after yourself?
Yeah, like you should go on. And I've just recently been having vocal coaching with Matt Ward. He's an amazing vocal coach on the Gold Coast. And 2 sessions in, I sounded different. I had a stronger voice. I learned how to breathe properly. And now my gigs are like, I'm flying through them. Like I'm not getting as tired. And generally I've always bounced back, you know. And we don't sing that much at a wedding. Like we do, but between formalities, you get like what's a little break time, and it's not like, even though we're there 8 hours, you're not singing for 8 hours.
For sure.
So yeah, I've never really struggled too much with that. I've actually never had a sick day either, which is so crazy. Every now and again I'll have a couple go, hey, what's your plan B?
Yep.
You know, what do you do when you're sick? I'm like, it's hard to answer that because I've like never missed one. If I've got a flu, I can kind of sound okay through it.
Yeah.
If I'm
a bit more masculine, you know.
Yeah, if I've got a slight flu, I'm still going to sound pretty good.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of just being an honourable and just making it to that day. And most of the time, people would message me like, oh, you sounded awesome. And I'm like, oh, that was the worst I've ever sung. So people don't know. And it's more about that commitment and not showing up. And
I think there's so much to like us doing it for ourselves, especially, is like we kind of naturally just like look after ourselves, like health wise, like eat good food, all that sort of stuff, because we actually understand the importance of a wedding. We know that you can't go back and relive it and all that sort of stuff. So like, is that kind of like, are you?
Yeah, just staying healthy is key. Yeah. Getting good rest. Like I'm not going to be, if I got a wedding tomorrow and I got mates going, or if I've got a party to go to or whatever, it's in the back of your mind. I got a responsibility tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know.
So
pretty much straight to the wedding from the party.
Just sweating. Same t-shirt.
Yeah.
And then as far as like tying in, like you're talking about personal work before as well.
Yeah.
Like obviously you're super busy in the business. How do you go about developing that side of things, like all your personal work? And does that come back? Do you feel like you're a better performer at weddings after you put more time into yourself and your personal work as well? Yeah,
I mean, my original music career, I mean, I probably would already be a touring musician if I hadn't have gone down the wedding path. I mean, there's no question that weddings take over. Yeah, you know, my Hutch, original music has suffered drastically because I can't, like, I'll get asked to do festivals, like, and I'm already booked for a wedding, and I'm so committed to my couples. Like I said to you, before we started this, the camera, I'll often, half of my weddings have changed their date to book me.
Yeah, that's.
And then what do you do when someone's changed their date?
and you're like, nah, got a
and then all of a
festival.
sudden you're like, oh no, I'm going to go.
Blues
and do
Fest
it.
gave me a call.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's just it's a responsibility that I have to honor that.
Yeah.
And those I mean a lot to my couples, and I find it is such a weird thing, but I really do.
Yeah.
They're so excited to have me come, and they've
Yeah.
been listening to I'll even have guests come up and be like, oh, the couple's been sending me all your stuff. And
Dude, that's sick.
we love your Instagram, and so you know that they've been. Imagine, not rocking up to their wedding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
Or sending someone else.
Yeah, for sure.
It's actually heartbreaking for them.
Yeah. Me and the fam were in the car yesterday, and I was like jamming out to your music, and all the kids were loving it. Like,
Yeah.
That's good, man. Loving it.
Yeah, it's cool. It is very cool.
Yeah. Awesome.
And you just released the new song.
Yeah.
Dude, it's awesome.
Yeah.
I really like it. I was same thing. I was like jamming out to it last night, and I was like, dude, this is great.
Yeah.
I saw like a bunch of because you were at there's a festival that you were at where you performed it. A couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, at Groundwater in Broadbeach.
How was that? Like, have you done
Unreal.
many live kind of?
That was our
corporate
first
events?
for a very long time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like as Hutch and with
Yeah.
our band and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's funny because we rocked up and there was a few people there, but I was like, oh, this is going to be tough. Like getting up on a big stage and like there's no one in the crowd. Like that's just it's expected when you're a new up and coming, artist. And I was sort of it's all right, let's just do it, and let's it's good practice.
Yeah.
And then by the time we got up on stage, the whole place was filling up, and I was like, this is unreal.
They heard he was coming.
And then I start singing, and people are singing my music back to me. It's the best feeling.
man.
That's sick.
Like it's pretty good when you can hear a pen drop during dinner at a ceremony, at a reception. Like this is what I say to my couples too. You've got some musos that'll just go and do the job, and they'll sing in the corner, and like people appreciate what they're doing. And then there's a couple of other guys that'll make it about themselves. But when I sing for your dinner, everyone in that room probably will leave thinking I probably would have paid for that.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to give.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
not a cocky thing. It's like, that's my job. You've paid me to come and perform.
Yeah.
And it's not like a performance, but it's a quality of performance that people are sitting there and they're not even talking.
Yeah,
Totally.
Because
for
they're
sure.
just like listening
looking
to
up and
you.
listening. Yep.
And if they are talking, they're like, how good is this? How good is this
This
wedding?
is so good.
He's
This is so
serenading
good.
me. He's serenading me.
And that's what you want,
Yep.
because there's plenty of time for everyone to talk and canapes, and there's different, but that dinner set is like, that's my time to like let you know why they booked me.
Love
Yeah.
it.
And have all them talking about it. And I think it makes the couples feel so special when they've left their wedding going, oh, we did such a good job. Because
Yeah.
I promise you, and I definitely know this now because of my wedding, weddings aren't for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you get married, it's not for you.
Yeah.
And the sooner you can realize that, the sooner you'll
lot
be
less
happy
stress.
with it and you'll be a lot less stressed. It's
Yeah.
for everyone else.
Yeah, for sure.
You've missed the whole thing.
Yeah.
You're out getting photos. Like our wedding was like, it was unreal, but like we were just getting photos, and some people I didn't even see at our wedding.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
it's
that's
so
hard.
funny. There was a photo, we got our photos back from Lauren and Lauren Joy, quick shout out.
Yep.
Incredible, by the way. Just
Nailed it.
We'll get to it. We'll get to that. But
That's
yeah.
sick.
But we got some photos back, and I was like, who's this guy?
Yeah.
She's like, that's my cousin. And I was like, I didn't even see him.
I hope you enjoyed dinner.
Yeah, I was like, I
Hope
hope
you
you,
like the music.
hope you enjoyed the apple crumble. But, yeah.
So
Fully.
we were talking as well before we came on about setting expectations for couples as well. Different venues, different, what you can actually allow yourself to do.
Yeah.
Do you want to speak about that a little bit?
Yeah. My advice to couples when they're looking for venues is find out what you want from your wedding. Like, what do your friends want? If you're just looking for an aesthetically pleasing place where you can get great photos and your friends can get together and have a chat, and then it's going to be a fairly early night, then you can look for certain venues that will cater to that. If you know your friends are going to want to party and kick on, like you want even a midnight finish, which is rare, but if you do, it's 11, then think about those things and ask those questions. Like, don't book a muso and a DJ and then get a week out from your wedding and get hit with a dB limit. Oh, you're not allowed subs, or you can't have speakers, or you can't have this, you can't have that. Live music has to finish at this time. And then you've paid for a service that you're not getting the best of.
Yeah.
For sure.
So like really investigate, especially with the music. Hey, what are my restrictions? Like, what am I allowed? I'll have emails come all the time and be like, oh, Chris, are you available? We booked a band, but the venue said we can't have a band.
Yeah.
Well, you should have found that out before you booked the band.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
know, and couples don't know because they're just excited.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I did the same thing with my venue. Like we had Mandy from Ivy and Blue do all of our set up and stuff, and we had candles and everything, and we're all set. We've hit the trigger. Yep, let's do it. And then like a week out from the wedding, the venue's like, you can't have candles.
Yeah, right.
Do you know how much that changes your whole look?
Yeah.
Yeah, aesthetics of everything.
So now it's like, okay, candles are gone. All right, now everything looks weird.
Yeah.
Like now we have to go back to the drawing board. And lucky I had someone like Mandy who's just the best.
Yeah.
He knows, all right, so we can't do candles. That means this, and this, and this can't be done. Now we've got to do this, and this, and this.
Yeah.
But without Mandy, if you don't have someone like Mandy and you're doing it yourself,
For sure.
stuffed.
Yeah, definitely.
Because we didn't ask the question, are we allowed candles?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Like, are we allowed? That's the dumbest thing
It's
ever.
such a novelty thing.
You just assume. Yeah,
you just
exactly.
assume you're allowed it because
Yeah.
like every wedding I've ever been to, I've seen candles.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was like, what? But that's our fault.
I think these are not candles in here. I think these are fake too.
Yeah.
I guess that's even like going to the wedding planner type of thing. I guess that's probably an outlier for Mandy. Most of the venues she would have known off the top of her head. Like, oh, make sure we can't have
And
candles.
this
Like,
is
you
the
know
thing
what I
with
mean?
this is the thing with Mandy. She would have known that had there ever had a wedding there before.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
me being a 12-year vet in the wedding industry, I'm not getting married at like you know
usual.
even this place here, probably one of the most spectacular venues.
Yeah.
I'm
Hands
not
down.
getting married here.
Yeah.
I've done 100 weddings here.
Yeah.
I'm not getting married where
Doesn't
I
feel
work.
special.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
For sure.
it could be the best place in the world, but if you're there every Saturday, you're
Exactly.
not going to get married there. So we went hunting for a wedding venue that's never been a wedding venue and turned it into one.
Love it.
You know?
Love that.
And how did that process go? Like you said, obviously it did change you as a muso and what you appreciate and everything. How far out did you book it and everything like that? How was the process?
We took 6 weeks to do our wedding.
Because I felt like it was
Awesome.
quick.
It was quick, man. We just decided that we wanted to just basically our story, how it came about was same sort of thing as booking a holiday. We sat down and Teagues is like, all right, well, we were engaged now. We've been engaged for like 6-7 months or whatever.
Yeah.
She's like, well, let's figure out when we're going to get married so we can let everyone know. And I'm like, cool. She looked in the diary and she's like, and I said, I want a week off. I want the whole week off. I don't want to work.
Yep.
I want the whole week off. Diary, so it's like January, February.
2026 in.
Don't know. She's like, I'm not going to marry you for 2 years.
Wow.
Because she's like, you've got at least one date every week for the next 2 years. So you don't have a week off. And you haven't even put in holiday time.
Dude, props to you for not like pushing back a wedding or canceling or something like that. That's, you know, that's hats off to you. Like,
I just can't do it. I just can't do it. It's hard. And now, especially now going through a wedding, like we had Mr. Sachs, so Ryan Living's do ours. If he rang me and goes, oh, sorry, mate, the sax is not working real well. I've got another guy coming. He still plays sax. I'd be devastated.
For sure.
Because he's a friend and I've seen him before and he is the best of the best. There isn't any better. There's no one even close to him.
Yeah.
You know, so I'd be just heartbroken and that's what my couples think about me. So I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So we just ended up saying, and then we had a holiday booked. We were supposed to go on a cruise for this particular week and it was in 8 weeks time. She's like, oh, and then she's like, look, if anyone can do it, you know, it's you.
Yeah.
We had a few things fall through because we always had our vendors were always, I've got my people picked. You know, Dan Schaefer obviously was like my dream photographer.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And you know,
Just for the mustache or?
like to be honest, I mean, his photos are amazing, but his hugs are way better.
Tell me about it.
dude.
Oh,
Like his
man.
hugs, like love his
dreamy.
hugs. They're dreamy. And when I'm done with my hug, like my hug's done now. I'm like, oh, okay,
he's still there.
you're not
He's
there.
like double
You're not
down.
there. He's in. When he hugs you, he's not letting go for a little bit. You know,
Good man, Dan Schaefer.
isn't he the best?
He's
Yeah,
so
We'll have you on, Dan, okay?
yeah. So
Just for the hugs.
Yeah. So when it was, we had a beautiful conversation with him when same thing with me. Like he's like literally, we're great friends and he'd do anything for me. And when I rang him and said, oh, look this, and he's like, oh man, I'm booked.
Yep.
And it wasn't even a, hey man,
Maybe I can swindle her.
you're a photographer, get someone else to go and shoot you and then come to my wedding.
Yep.
We didn't even have that conversation because we both know
Yeah.
how much, I know how much his couples mean. Like he's a entity himself.
Yeah.
Like people aren't just getting him for his photography.
For sure.
they're going, this guy's a vibe. I need to have this emotion and this love around my wedding. And that's why they book him, not just because he's an incredible photographer. There's thousands of incredible photographers.
Yeah.
He's just got that personality that it's going to make your day having him around. So, but we didn't even have that conversation because we both know we don't do that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, right, cool. And then he was just like, man, there's so many. And he gave me a list and I also had my own other side list. And then with Lauren, it was like, Teague. So we got Lauren Joy to do our wedding. She's hardworking. She's the kind of photographer that like goes far and beyond, like ties shoes and gets kids happy and
that's awesome.
Everything. Like she just, and you know this story. You've got to be like 100%. That. But there is some out there that aren't.
Yeah.
If you're not ready for the shot, then I'm just going to wait till you are ready. Yeah, and then if you miss out on an extra 20 minutes of photo time, that's your fault. You're not ready. It's not my job to do up your buttons.
Yeah.
They're out there.
Yeah, for sure.
But being lucky enough to work with him and with Tegan doing videography, and she's, with Charlie Boy Films and stuff, she works alongside these people and she knows what Lauren's like.
Yeah.
And so we got her involved, and also she's just great. Like she's one of those photographers you can say, hey, look, we were going to get Dan. It's like clean, bright, whites, wet's kind of what we want.
Yep.
She's like, cool, let's do it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's so good.
Not like, oh, well, that's not what I do.
That's not what my style is.
So
exactly.
Off you go.
Yeah.
It's not that. That's not how it works. And that's okay. Like photographers have your style, and that's what you're good at. And you either book that or you don't book that. But in our scenario, it was so nice to have someone that was able to.
Well, it's even having the conversation. It's like having that conversation and being like, this is what we were kind of wanting. And then they've still got the opportunity to be like, nah, it's kind of not really my vibe or whatever. Or they can be like, yeah, like, let's do it. And same thing. It's like trusting them that they're going to bring that vision to the day rather than being like micromanaging them, sending them like 75 different photos and being like, this is what I want. I want this pose here, this and this.
And I can imagine that would be hell, because for me, when a couple send me a set list, I'm just like, mate, listen.
Does that happen these days?
Oh, sometimes.
Yeah.
I had one not recently, and they sent me a bunch of songs, and like the very pre-ceremony music, the set was like, there was like 6 songs.
Yeah.
For starters, there's not that much time in your pre-ceremony arrival. And it was like Diesel, a few other songs, and I'm like, can you imagine me going singing right on the tip of your tongue as guests are arriving at a wedding? They're going to be like, are we in a pub? Like what I do for you and I say this to my couples all the time, like, and especially when we talk about song choices, is I want to take them on an emotional roller coaster. They don't even realize it's happening. It's kind of like, in a sense, it's like what churches do. When you walk into a church, you start hearing the music that starts to hit that part of your brain that makes you feel emotional.
Totally.
And that's kind of what I need to try and do at a wedding. There's
it's like subliminal. It's almost like this sounds good and I don't really know why. Like that's what we do when like video editing and stuff. It's like, this looks really good. I don't really know why. There's so many different intricate details that go into it to make something unique, something powerful, whether it's a zoom in or a different type of coloring or something. Yeah. And it's like, this looks good. Same as movies. Looks good. I don't know why, because I'm not that professional, but so I can imagine it's the same for yourself. Yeah. So I just got to like set a mood and sing, and it's the same sort of thing when they're like, oh, we've got a long aisle. I got 5 bridesmaids. I need, here's my 2 songs. Yeah. And a lot of celebrants will make the mistake of recommending that, oh, you need 2 songs. And you don't. You just need a live musician that can play one song for as long as you need, and then picking a song that's going to make everyone feel emotional. Honestly, it's so important. Yeah. The difference between just playing the wrong song at your ceremony and playing the right song is important. And I'm pretty strong with my couples when I'm doing music. I'll let them know, listen, I know it sounds like a good song, but just go back and have a listen to the lyrics. Yeah. It's not a wedding song, it's a breakup song.
Yeah, so for sure.
You know what I mean?
Sometimes you'll be editing a video, same thing, and then you listen to the lyrics and you're like, oh no, I can't put that in there.
Yeah, the intro was nice, but
dude, the beat was dope. But this is about someone like
I did one recently, and I rang the groom, and I rang them the day of their wedding, because what happened was I've been trying to get a hold of this couple for a couple of weeks, and they were like, yeah, we still haven't sorted our songs out yet. I'm sorry, we'll have it done. And I was like, it's all good. Like I said, worst case scenario, like as long as you give it to me the day before, at least give me a day to prep the stuff. Like one day I'm because they were horrible. So I knew I was not getting it. You know, I was just give me at least a day. So he sent me the song, but they sent it to me in the afternoon, and so I had to go to a wedding.
Yep.
Finished my wedding, came home, and that's the joy of having a DJ. Get home, my voice is still warm, so I sit down, learn tomorrow's songs, like make sure that they're ready and they sound great.
Yep.
Woke up the next morning, had to make that call and say, listen, who picked this old song?
Yeah.
This is a stitch up, surely, because it's like not even didn't even sound like a nice song. It was just like it sounded like, and she goes, oh, you know, I think his name was Josh. Josh picked it. And I was like, oh, did he listen to it?
Yeah.
She's like, we don't really care too much about the music. We just know you're good. So can you just play like whatever you want to play? And I'm like, oh, this is hilarious. Like, so much pressure on me.
You can't polish a turd.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, this is not the song because this song, like literally third line in is like, you're not the one for me. I'm like, did you not listen past the third line? Like, you're not the one for me.
Yeah.
He listened to the instrumental.
Maybe he did.
He was giggling his head off when he rang me. He was like, I can't believe this. This is hilarious. He's like, I've always liked that song.
Yeah.
And you said to pick a song that's like sentimental or means something to you, you know, rather than picking something.
Yeah.
Because I always say to him, like, you can pick anything. I'll make it sound lovely as long as it doesn't, the lyrics aren't
It's like not some punk emo stuff from you know when you were 16.
Yeah. Like I've done like Rihanna songs and like Beyonce songs and songs you wouldn't pick for an Isle song, but I'll just make it sound like it, slow it down, make it sound romantic. And
what song did Tegan have for her walking down the aisle?
So we had Can't Help Fall in Love, which is so funny because I always like laugh because it's like one of my favorites to sing.
Yeah.
And we do a good job of it, and it's not like Elvis, but it's modernized and sounds great. But obviously I couldn't sing it, and I was always going to be her wedding singer because we were friends for 5 years before we got together, and she was always like, you're going to be my wedding singer, like you're amazing, you know. She's always been a big fan of my music and stuff like that. And and so but she was just listening to, she was just going through, and I said to her, I can't have someone else sing you down the aisle, sweetheart. You're going to have to, I reckon we get like an orchestra or a violin or something, because I don't want to hear someone do what I do to you. Yeah. You know, it's just like my personal thing. So she was listening, and she listened to this violin version of Can't Help Fall in Love, and she just started crying. And so she's like, oh, this is the song. So it just happened to be the song that I giggle about every time someone goes, oh, do you know Can't Help Fall in Love? And I'm like, do I know the #1 wedding song? Sorry?
Maybe.
And then I go and use it for my wedding as well. So, can't give anyone any curry for that because I did the same thing. But it was beautiful. We had a violinist do it, and it was pretty incredible.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And so as far as like booking clients and everything like that, do most of your brides and grooms, they hear you at other weddings, or how do they come about you?
Yeah, I mean, there's always like, if there's someone in the room getting married and I've done the wedding and they haven't booked someone, there's a good chance they'll book me for sure. A lot of times that'll happen, or I'll be recommended. But like a lot of vendors also will recommend me. Yeah. Because it's like, it's good for you guys to recommend someone good.
Exactly
obviously.
Right. Reflects well on
on you guys.
For sure.
But venues as well, just been on supplier lists and stuff. I've never really advertised or anything. You know, these days you've got to do a Facebook ad here and there, or an Instagram ad or something, just to stay relevant. There's so many of us now. It's insane how many wedding singers there are. Like,
interesting.
Since COVID.
Because I almost feel like there's not that many like memorable ones that I feel I feel like I remember maybe 3. And then other than that, I'm like, oh, they work for a bigger company and they just kind of rock up on the day kind of thing.
Yeah, those ones.
Yeah.
I know
so
those ones.
More of those ones around.
Oh, there's so many of those ones.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, you're a busker.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, I've got a wedding business. You should come work for me.
Yeah.
I feel upset for the couples because they're getting told these guys are great.
Yep.
And you don't put too much effort into looking up what they sound like or going to see them live. A lot of them don't do, like even me, I'll get couples come, they've heard me online, but they're still unsure.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, can I come see you somewhere? I'm like, I don't do I don't do that. I just do weddings, and you just have to trust that it's going to be good.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not doing this many weddings if I'm not good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it is hard on them because it's a big responsibility to pick someone and expect that they're going to, and then for them, they're like, oh, well, I don't want to pay double for you. And I could have got half the price for this guy and it'd be the same performance, but I promise you it's not chalk and cheese.
It's never the same.
Sure.
It's like a trending reel that I'm seeing at the moment. It's like the title is like, I know someone else that can do it for half the price, and it's like,
Yeah.
but it's never the same.
No.
And it's not.
No, it's definitely not. And it's not, it's just those little 1% of things too. Like, you know, being able to turn that chapel into an emotional space, waiting and ready for you to come. And even with the way that we've, over time, I've developed the ability to sing the right part at the right time.
Yep.
You know, like at Summer Grove, you know, for perfect example, doors will, you know this, you know what we do there. It's with the doors and stuff. It's like doors will open, bridesmaids will come through, and then they'll close again. And then no matter where I am in a song, that bride has an idea of where she wants to walk in.
Yep.
And then if I'm not even close to that, because sometimes bridesmaids will go slow.
Yep.
Too slow.
point.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, all right, now I'm like getting to the point where she wants to walk in, but I got 2 bridesmaids left.
Yep.
So I got to, in my head, work out how to slow down without slowing down and without making it obvious. And then all of a sudden, doors open for the bride, straight to the point she wants.
Love it.
Because she's waited since she was like 4 or 5 years old for this moment. And I don't want to ruin it.
Yeah.
I want to add value to it. I don't want to ruin it. So
Far out.
they're the things you don't think of.
Not at all. Like as a photographer, I never thought about that.
I've never thought of that. Ever.
Yeah.
So especially because like you said, you can't see her because the door's closed. So like other venues where it's like, oh yeah, you can see them and be like, okay, they're ready to go.
Yeah. And brides will be like, oh, I want to walk in at 1 minute and 3 seconds. And I'm like, cool. And that's great. But I promise you won't be 1 minute and 3 seconds.
Yep.
Could be 3 minutes. Could be 60
The
seconds.
flower girl took 1 minute and 3 seconds.
100%. So I just say, you just tell me the lyric, the line, the spot where you want to come in, and I'll make sure I'm on that spot.
Yeah.
You know, and it's very rare that I don't get it right.
Yeah,
It has to be pretty wild to not get it right. And then most of those times, the doors were jammed or something.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. But it wasn't me. I wipe my hands of all blame. Yeah.
So
that's so good.
Moves for the future, anything like, so obviously you've got the DJs in place and everything like that now. Any shifts within the business or like, because I know.
Yeah, massive shifts for me actually.
Okay.
I'm doing some cool stuff. Yeah. We're basically got a new thing. So since my wedding, you know when like the sparklers go off and stuff, man, that's such a vibe, eh?
Oh yeah.
And for me, it was like, it's so expensive to get a company to come in just to do that little thing, and then maybe a dancing on the cloud.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh. And then I've seen a few other companies that have put that in, and it's not something that it's not something that I'm going to implement into my business that'll take too much time, which means it'll lower my quality of work. It's like the easiest thing to add, and it adds value to people. And I want to start being able to add that without having them like lose more money.
Yep. Sure.
My biggest thing is like, and I feel bad for people who that's what they do full time.
Yep.
And like, good for you. But like, my business is about serving the bride and groom. Yep. I'm not here to, like I already make the money on the music. I'm singing, I'm doing my thing, but I want to add more value to
more like production value to it.
Production value. Because so many of my couples don't get the privilege of having that because they can't afford it.
Yeah.
It's like, if it's another $2,000 just to have some sparks go off, and yes, it's incredible.
Yeah,
everyone will love it,
sure.
but it's $2,000.
Yeah.
And you've already spent ridiculous amounts of money on your wedding. So I would love to be able to add those little elements to and now having DJs working for me, they can be running that sort of stuff and offering those services.
That's awesome.
So that's my next thing for my business. We've got that in the pipeline, which is awesome. Can't wait for that. Yeah.
Amazing. Cool.
What is there like an ETA that you've got on that, or like?
I've actually got a couple of couples I've already spoke to about hopefully having that done. It's like a couple of months away.
Yeah, okay.
So it's going to start.
And so you're doing the floor sparklers and the
dancing on a cloud.
The nitrogen.
It's like a dry ice.
Liquid nitrogen.
Yeah. So we're a few months away from that, and but like I've got like 100 and I don't know. I actually don't know. I'm just lying. I actually don't know how many I've got. Talk to Tegan about it. But let's say I've got 150 plus 160 weddings booked in between. Just in the future,
for sure.
So far, I'll just send them all an email and go, "Hey, listen, any of you guys thought about doing this? Because this is what we offer.
It's only $4,000 extra.
It's only plus GST. But definitely won't be that much. But I mean, if it was, that would be amazing for me. I'd probably retire very soon. But no, definitely, it's going to be a very small cost compared to what's out there.
That's awesome.
And I just want it to be like, just add some value and just. They don't have to have it, but if you want to.
Yeah. I've got it. Throw it in the van.
It's so easy to plug in.
Yep.
put your powder in.
Hard to source that type of thing?
No, so easy.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, just got to like sort out your license stuff and
Yep.
yeah, you're good.
That's
amazing.
great.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't want to put the effort into that.
Yep.
But that's where I want to be, the point of difference.
Perfect.
You know?
And I feel like you said, there are some people who that is their business. I feel like that'd be a pretty hard business to be in. Like that's the only product that you're doing.
Yeah.
Like it'd be pretty tough. I mean, it's no different to the videographers. Now we've got the social media people and everything like that. Content creators.
Well, yeah, the thing is, we're already there.
Yep, exactly.
So it's like I feel bad if someone could have been there and it's their business I'm taking off them. But at the same time, I'm already going to be there, and I'm just offering the couple a chance to have a special moment where it's not going to cost them. You know, getting a whole nother company in, they've got to pay staff, and it is an expense. And
But I even think feel less bad about it, in my opinion, because there's a bunch of bigger entertainment businesses that they do it.
Yeah, exactly.
And so they do DJs, they do lighting setups, they do the floor sparkles.
Yeah, and that's
stuff.
what we had.
So in my opinion, I think feel less bad about taking business. There's enough work to go around.
Yeah. Oh, there is. There's so much, you know. But yeah, so that's the next thing, and then also obviously working more with Tegan with her business with Charlie Boy Films. You know, she's obviously taken that leap to get out of where she was, because obviously she's been you know, working for other companies, and you know what it's like when you work for other companies for years, you can't use their footage, their content, anything. So when you start your own business, it's like you're not allowed to use anything, even though you're great, you do good edits and your footage is amazing. You can't use it, so you have to get work to get work. You know. So she's been working really hard over the last 12 months on her Charlie Boy Films thing, and it's honestly, it's just going so great. She's another one like Dan. People are going to book her because with video, you can edit a photo. You know, you guys know this. I'm telling you something that you do for a living professionally. But with videos, I find there's no second chances. There's no I can tweak this and tweak that. You know, it's just you've got to get those candid shots.
Definitely.
And the only way to get them is the person behind the lens making you feel and move. And
exactly.
So it's a connection you have with the person who is filming. And
definitely.
when anyone meets Tegan, they fall in love with her and they feel comfortable. And I think that's so important, having that relationship. And so her business is just blown up, gone through the roof. She's got heaps of work coming up, and obviously with me as well,
feeding off each other,
and when they book me, for example, let's say there's a ceremony going on and I'm on the guitar and I finished my job, put my guitar down and I'm listening to the ceremony, and all of a sudden, you know, someone stands up in front of camera 3. Well, that's my camera because that's my wife's camera. And I just run over and I'm like, move it. She didn't even, she's like, oh, thanks, babe. You know, and we just work hand in hand. We giggle, we laugh, we make the couple feel good, and the couple knows that we're there in a team. We've got their back. And if it's raining, I'm under her camera with so that the lens doesn't get ruined and the shot's ruined.
One hand on umbrella, the other.
Literally just working together. And I think this weekend that just went past, she just did a wedding without me. It was her first one where we weren't actually offer her own business, Charlie Boy Films, and it was such a weird feeling to have her she was going to one venue, I was going to another, and I was like, oh, it's happening. You're actually getting busier. Yeah, you're getting busier than me. There's been a bunch of times where our couples have been like, oh, we want Charlie Boy Films too, and she's like, oh, I'm already booked.
It's the worst feeling, but the best feeling.
Yeah, totally. You know,
are you going to have? Are you going to do any of your original music for her, wedding, for her wedding films or something like that? Have that as a separate thing?
So I wrote a song called "Marry Me" for her for our wedding. I wrote that song before we got engaged, but with the idea of I was always going to marry her and stuff. And we had our first dance to that song. I'm currently trying to get it finished. Our sneak peek has that song. I'll show you when we finish this. Has that song in the background and stuff, and we're going to put it on. What's it called?
Music Bed or something like that?
I'm actually just going to release it on Music Bed so people can use it for free.
Amazing.
And use it for their wedding videos because it's a wedding song. And that's the plan with that song. So it's a really cute song.
Oh, that'd be so cool. Just as something to separate, so she can stand apart as well. She's got your songs and the couple's had you along on the day as well. That's pretty special. Oh, and actually getting back to branching out my business as well. We have one of my best friends, he's just started a photo booth thing. So also going to be doing a special with him to try and help my couples out as well. I want to, like I said, I'm big on giving lots of value to the couples. And having him, I've reached out to him and said, hey, with your
you know, I don't want to get in the photo booth game.
Yeah.
That's not my thing. But I just want to be able to say to my couples, because you've booked me, if you want this service, I can get it to you for this price, rather than you going and paying an extra $700-800 somewhere else. Because they're getting really popular now too. Like,
for sure.
You know, so.
And that's hard as a photographer. Like, I know so many people do add that as a photographer add-on.
Yeah.
But man, it's just like
so hard to run them.
Dude, like you're out getting, you know, family photos and all that kind of stuff, and you're worrying about the photo booth getting set up inside by someone else.
Yeah.
It's just not worth it. Like, it's not at all. Like, especially if you've got someone else like a DJ setting up inside here and they're setting up a photo booth, you know, it's an easy team. They're all part of it.
Yeah.
Whereas, I know some photographers that do it. I just don't know how they can.
Yeah, I don't know
that.
either. No, especially when something goes wrong.
Yeah.
Like, you need to be able to.
Something has to give.
Yeah.
Like if your focus is on either photographing or videography of their day, you can't really be fully committed to that. Like Steve said, you know, if you got to worry about the photo booth getting us set up inside, or if all of a sudden that camera's not working and you're like, okay, well, why isn't it working? It's like you kind of get pulled away. Yeah. You're pulled in different directions and stuff. So it's really hard to keep that focus. Yeah.
And that's getting back to my whole DJ thing. Like I said, if I can't give you the service you've paid for, it's time. Like it costs me a lot more money. Like I used to DJ. So I haven't gone, and it's not like, got a DJ now, so my price has gone through the roof because I'm sharing the money. But it is so much more beneficial for the couple to have two people there.
Exactly.
Doing, you know, giving you 100% rather than one guy who gave you 100% during the live music and now
fading.
He's fading.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I
he
mean?
just turns that music up a little bit louder just to cover.
Yeah. And
except
honestly,
in Byron, no doing that.
No. But the thing is, it's with DJing too, it's more than, and I've realized this a lot since my wedding.
Yep.
There's a lot more to DJing than just playing a playlist.
100%.
You know, you can get away with it. Trust me, you can get away with it.
Yep.
I did for years. You know, in the early stages of my career, when couples were like, "Oh, can you DJ?" and I'm like,
"Of course,
I got Spotify."
I'm like, I mean, I was sort of like, not really, but I could like stay and play music for you. Like that's the honest truth. I was like, look, I'm not.
Yeah.
I think the first couple of years of my business, I didn't even have like DJ decks. I had a laptop and I just plugged it into the speaker and was like playing music. You know. But I told them that. I'm like, I'll stay and have lights and I'll be there for you, but I'm not a DJ.
Yep.
And then I realized, I need to, it's not fun. And I was bored and I was like, I need to learn how to actually do this. So it's not, and then I became a DJ, but I was never a good one in my eyes. And I've got high standards. I see good DJs. So you know what, So now, especially now, like I'm so blessed for my couples now because they're just getting a real DJ who's out there learning how to DJ and
focusing on their craft. Yeah,
like looking at, like I'll get them to do a Spotify playlist. I'll say, make a DJ playlist for me on Spotify. I'm not going to use it. It's just easier to curate on Spotify than it is to email me a list of songs.
Yeah, for sure.
And then Tay will basically spend a few days before the wedding looking at all those songs, beat matching each one and making sure they go into each other and putting her sets together. And I'm like, I never done any of that stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? And so it's so important having someone come and be a professional.
For sure.
You know,
one of the things that like we talk about as, you know, photographers and videographers is like the first 3 songs of a dance floor.
Oh, it's so important, right?
So important.
Yeah.
It makes
and you know what's so important is having a musician who understands the other vendors too and their needs.
Yep.
So for me, we're about to kickstart the dance floor. Who's the MC? That's my first thing. Who's the MC? I go and talk to the MC and I'll say to the MC, look, we need to say to everyone has to be on the dance floor for the first 15, 20 minutes because that's the only footage that's going to make it in their highlight reel.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they've got to go.
Yep.
You guys leave at 9 o'clock or 8:30, whatever it is, and they're out the door. If there's no dance floor, their video is ruined as far as dance floor is concerned. So if we can just get everyone on the dance floor, force everyone on the dance floor, they all have a good time anyway.
Exactly.
Like we're forcing them on the dance floor, but once they get there,
it's like pulling teeth. Or no, that's a bad analogy. But it's like
it's like pulling teeth.
Yeah, exactly. It's the worst.
No.
Once you pull it out, you're fine. You're having fun.
I thought about it. No, it's like you get them out there and they're like, oh, I don't really want to be here.
Yeah.
Half a song later, or they get in the chorus and they're like
crumping.
He means like it's like pulling teeth. You don't want to be there, but when you get that happy gas, you know you're in a good place. You know,
terrible analogy.
But yeah, no, totally. And so I just, I work with that because I'm mindful of what we need to get out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe that's
exactly.
because I'm now, dealing with Tegan. And
I was going to say,
know
were
that.
you
other
conscious
side
of
of
it
things.
before Tegan?
Yeah, I definitely was.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
because I have friends
Yeah, yeah.
that
Yeah.
are vendors.
You
And
have
we have
friends?
chats at dinner. Yeah, a couple. When we have dinner, we talk about it, We're not sitting there going, oh, far out, I can't wait to get out of here.
Yeah.
You're like, I hope that I can get a good dance
Yeah.
floor so I can give them
Exactly.
what I've promised them.
100%.
Yep.
And when you hear that, you're like, oh, don't stress, I'll get them on the dance floor for
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
for sure.
And if you care about your job and you care about your couples, then
Yeah.
you will do that. But I've heard so many horror stories and people are just there to make a buck. And the problem is their price is reflective of that. Their service is reflective
100%.
of that. And unfortunately, if you're the type of person that's, fallen into the trap of booking that,
Yep.
I mean, you didn't really care too much about your wedding in the first
It's
place.
hard, hey, because it's like you got to find the line because everyone knows the stigma behind like, oh, I've got a weddings, that it's all just out to make money and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But like, there's just so much more
Yeah.
to that. Like, I could speak for hours on it. Like on.
Oh, and I get annoyed about it because, like, I look at Tegan and she'll go to a wedding and she'll do an 8 hour, 9 hour, sometimes 10 hour day, not even getting paid for 10 hours, but she's just going the extra mile because she knows she wants that shot.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. And then she'll go and spend 40, 50 hours over the next, bouncing from one wedding to another to try and keep her couples happy.
Yep.
All right, sneak peek's done. Okay, I've got another week of that, and then I'll go. If I get this done, then I can get them that and keep them happy, and then I can do this. And it's a timeline. It's a lot of work.
Yeah,
Yep.
for sure.
And then people are sitting there going, "How can you charge that money for a video?"
Yeah,
it's
and
like,
for you're there for 8 hours. It only
yeah,
takes you
I
8
work.
hours.
They're like, I work all week. I work all week.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
For less than that, how can you charge that for one day?
Yeah.
It's like you have no idea.
Yeah.
The brain power, the knowledge, the effort that
Yeah.
goes into just the emotional effort as well that goes into these.
And just like crowd control and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like from not even just us, but like yourself and like it's not even just they're hiring you as a
Yeah.
muso. It's just like crowd reading and
Yeah.
like if nothing's happening, if things are dead or whatever, like going up and
Especially
like,
as an MC, musician, when I'm MCing, I'm not MCing, I'm wedding coordinating.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
for sure.
60% of the weddings I go to don't have someone there running the wedding.
Wow.
It's like, here's the keys to the
Yeah.
venue. It's all done. Here's the run sheet.
Yeah.
But that's see you later.
Yeah.
A lot of venues are like that. A lot of venues have staff and no coordinator.
For sure.
For sure.
And the staff don't care. They're like 20-year-olds
That's 20 years
They're
old,
just getting
yeah.
paid
They're
the
just
hourly wage. And,
pouring your
Yep.
beers and that's it. They don't care if there's something going wrong. So it takes the vendors
Yep.
to jump in when they see a problem about to happen. Like, how many times have you seen, like, okay, we're so late. Like, we're so late. We need to
Yeah.
we need to
make things happen.
make things happen. Like, how many nights have you not eaten?
Yep, for sure. Yep.
You know
Like
what I
during
mean?
speeches, you're just standing up eating.
Yeah. Like, it's just, you just got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
And that's why we love working at certain venues. That's
Yeah,
why we get
exactly.
excited about certain venues. And that's why some venues are a little bit more than other venues, because they've
Yep.
got a professional
Exactly.
person running the event.
Yeah. And you can almost like put out fires before they're even lit,
Yeah. Well, you see them coming.
Yeah,
That's the big
exactly.
thing, yeah.
Before we do though, how can people find you and anything else you want to give info?
You can find me on Chris Hutchinson Weddings on Instagram or chrishutchinsonweddings.com.
Yep.
Just give us a call and we'll have a chat and we'll make your dreams come true.
We'll have all the fire and ice going. It'd be awesome.
We will. Yes. How exciting. Yeah. This guy. Yeah. Don't forget to ask about the sparkle, the dry sparks.
we got
guys. Yeah. And also Charlie Boy Films. We got that going as well. So,
Yep.
if these guys aren't available.
There you go.
We'll cut that bit out.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Ed.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in to the Wedco podcast. We're dropping a fresh episode every week featuring industry professionals dishing out the wedding wisdom you need to turn those dreams into reality. Make sure you are following us on social media, you have those notifications turned on so we can help plan your wedding day. Your dream wedding day just got a whole lot easier. Thanks for listening.